Okay, this video is back to numbers strategy. You'll find another video on our channel regarding numbers strategy. So this one is actually about the chart of accounts, also known as the general ledger, and how to modify the categories, because numbers strategy is a lot around very smart categorization of your numbers. So numbers 101 is accurate and up-to-date numbers, but numbers strategy is meaningful. So that's where we're going to change up the numbers a bit. So let's dive in. I'm using Xero for the purposes of this. If you use different accounting software, the principles are the same, but you may need to press different buttons to get there. So with Xero, when you jump in, you'll be on the dashboard. You want to come up to the accounting menu. The chart of accounts is very much an accountant's area. So the chart of accounts is in the shortcuts because it had a star placed next to it in the settings area, because chart of accounts actually you get there from the file settings, which is probably important to know because the chart of accounts is actually the engine of your business. The engine of your accounting file. So it's in advanced settings. Now, it is the engine of your accounting file. And just like the engine of your beautiful Ferrari that you have in your driveway, or any car, if you're not a qualified mechanic, you're going to be pretty nervous about tinkering with that engine. You are going to be able to put air in the tyres, yeah? You're going to be able to change the oil, you're going to be able to wash it, you're going to be able to do certain things, but you're really not going, there's a lot of things that you're not going to do. And it's so the same with this, right? And everybody has a different amount of knowledge. So some people will be able to do a few more things in here without damaging the car. And then other people are really going to, be at risk of damaging the car. And I want you to know that just knowing more about this area doesn't translate into business success, okay? So you don't, this is the kind of stuff that you can get great people to help you with, yeah? This is not stuff that you need to deeply know. So don't think for a minute that you have to become an expert in the chart of accounts. In fact, it's actually far more important that you understand what not to do. If you don't know how to tinker with the engine, just don't tinker. There's people who can do that for you, yeah? For you just need to be the expert in your business and running your business, and that includes the numbers around your business. But this video I'm making just to show you how to change some categories. So in terms of the engine, I'd rather you not touch assets, liability and equity. They're those things that the mechanics usually do. But in the expenses and revenue area, so these two hit the profit and loss. These three hit the balance sheet. So in this two area, you can, as a business owner, you're pretty right to make some changes, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So over here in the profit and loss, we're in the demo company. So see how we've got advertising here, and that's so there's a category, yeah. So there's a category and it's advertising. So let's say you've got a lot of businesses, you've got 6 types of advertising that you do, and you really want to see that broken down so that you can track your return on investment in each category, and so what you're spending versus what you're receiving back in your marketing spend. So that's numbers strategy, and that is smart categorization as an example. So how would you do that? So back to remembering that as long as you stick to expenses and revenue, you won't go too wrong. You can make a few mistakes along the way. So I would say if you're not confident, then sit down with your strategic bookkeeper and do this smart categorization with him or her, because it's what they do best. So there's your advertising one. And let's say I wanted to split that. Well, we can see that advertising is sitting in there as an expense, but everything's bundled into one. So what I could do is I could go add account, and it's an expense account. I could give it a number of 401. The numbers don't really matter, they just make it alphabetical. And I might break that up into advertising, social media, yeah? And in this case, just notice that there is a default for tax. We do use receipt bank so that our GST coding is kind of perfect every time. If you are just using zero with no expense artificial intelligence, you'll need to make sure that you do modify it if you're using a supplier without GST, because this is kind of telling the computer, well, I think most of the time we'll have GST. If that's going over your head, just remember, again, outsource your bookkeeping. if it's not the thing you do best, just outsourcing. I'm a BAS agent. I don't do my bookkeeping. I have better things to do. But I love showing you what to do on these videos. So there you go. We can have two categories. I can have another one. So I might go expense 402, advertising, and in this case, it's my website maintenance, yeah? So it might be, different things that I'm doing there. And I'll go, okay. So the categories that you need are the categories that you need. They are dependent on your business, yeah? So in this case, if we use a plumber as an example, then he's going to make sure that his cost of sales categories are as smart as possible. Simple but smart. Let's not complicate things, yeah? So keep it as simple as you can while having enough detail that you can really use those numbers to forecast, to look forward. So the same so back to the plumber example, he's going to make sure that his income is smartly categorised. He probably is going to want those advertising expenses split up, unless he doesn't do any advertising, unless he just finds it's all word of mouth. But if he attends a networking event regularly, he's probably going to want to see that separately. Is he paying out for Google AdWords? He's definitely going to want to see that separately, and so on. And that in the chart of account is where you are going to change those. Same thing with revenue, okay? You can, if we go in there now, you can see it's only got sales, but I can easily go add an account, revenue, 201, sales, plumbing parts. There we go. And then I might go add account, revenue, 202, sales, plumbing service, labour. There you go. Once you've got those in, you're going to get more meaningful data, which will allow you to be able to move on to your next step and set targets. So that is really a quick dive into how to use your accounting file to modify your categories when you're working in the numbers strategy area.